Good morning. It is Sunday morning, and it is the 18th of April. I shared with you yesterday morning we might do some backup and pick up a couple of weeks that I skipped over to kind of try and put us on time with our devotions and our actual events. Remember, church calendar fluctuates, so one book is set, and so we're off oftentimes from where we are with the cross and the resurrection, and next one up is Pentecost, and we'd be way off with that. So I'm going to go back and catch a couple of the chapters we skipped. This one here, we're going to go back to the cross, and that is not a bad thing, that's for sure. I think we need to constantly be reminded about the cross. And this week that we skipped over to try and stay current a little bit is the 7 words from the cross. The 7 words from the cross. Suggested reading is Matthew 18, verses 21 through 35. And the verse that he starts off with actually comes from Luke 23. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." His prayer for his executioners. The first 3 words from the cross portray Jesus, the example. They express the love he showed to others. "Do not weep for me," he had said earlier in verse 28. Nor did he weep for himself. He did not dwell in self-pity on his pain and loneliness, nor on the gross injustice that was being done to him. Indeed, he had no thought for himself, only for others. He had nothing left now to give away. Even his clothes had been taken from him. But he was still able to give people his love. The cross is the epitome of his self-giving. As he showed his concern for the men who crucified him, the mother who bore him, and the penitent thief who was dying at his side. His first word was his prayer for the forgiveness of his executioners. Think how remarkable this was. His physical and emotional sufferings, his physical and emotional sufferings had already been almost intolerable. But now he had been stripped and laid on his back, and the rough hands of the soldiers had wielded their hammers clumsily. Surely now he will think of himself. Surely now he will complain against God like Job, or plead with God to avenge him, or exhibit a little self-pity. But no, he thinks only of others. He may well have cried out in pain, but his first word is a prayer for his enemies. The 2 criminals beside him curse and swear, but not Jesus. He practices what he has preached in the Sermon on the Mount. Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistrust you. Luke 6:27 and 28. For whom then was he praying? No doubt, especially for the Jewish leaders who had rejected their Messiah. In answer to Jesus' prayer, they were granted a 40-year reprieve during which many thousands repented and believed in Jesus. Only in AD 70 did the judgment of God fall on the nation, when Jerusalem was taken and its temple destroyed. A devotion like that, and we preached on prayers from the cross during Lent. But just that thought there, that this is how he showed love. We're supposed to be like him. And boy, do we need his help. We need his forgiveness, because we don't always, maybe even often, act like he does. And so thank you, Lord, for praying for us in advance, for praying for me in advance. Father, forgive Don Kidd, because he doesn't know what he's doing sometimes. Toward him, this is a prayer of forgiveness toward those who had done their worst to hurt him. Do we really know how powerful the grace of God and the love of Christ are to us? There's a snapshot of it right there. Ponder that. Ponder that still. I know we're technically past the cross, but we can never leave the cross. Can't ever leave the cross. The display of love and grace as Jesus prays for those who have plotted against him, beaten him, spit on him, gambled for his clothes right there at the foot of the cross. Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. I think if we took things that way more often, when people say things, do things, whatever that we feel are aimed at us, if they really knew what they were doing, they really understood that what they were doing was sin. Father, forgive them. They don't understand. They don't really know what they are doing. Thank God for his grace and his mercy today on this first day of the week, on this Sunday morning, April the 18th. Blessings to you today.